He was coming home probably 10:30 at night with the first load of barley. I was combining, and he drove in the yard and got out and seen his brakes were on fire. Jumped out with a fire extinguisher, put them out, dollied down, unhooked the tractor from the trailer, drove ahead. Just from there on, it was just let it cool until he was ready to go home for the night, and walked over one more time to check and look at it, and that's when the tire blew. Sidewall blew out of the tire. A chunk of it came towards his face, and he was talking to me on the phone just when it happened. And I'm gonna say it hit his hand and the phone, and from there across his nose with a deep gash and eye.
Me and Samantha just got back, so we were at the end of just getting back into farming from our wedding. So I was bringing in a load of barley, which we were gonna put in a bin the next day. It was already late at night. And I drove about 10 miles with the brake that was hung up on my truck.
When I was following him, I could smell something burning. And I kept looking down at my car thinking, like, am I overheating? Like, what's going on? And I almost called him like 5 times in that drive to be like, something's not right with my car, but I didn't. And then when we got there, as soon as I pulled up, he was already trying to put the fire out.
And everything felt fine, normal. I've trucked for years of my life, so nothing felt different, but got back, and when I got out, the brakes were red hot, and the flames were just starting, and I thought, well, just jumped out right away and put them out.
And then he called his dad to let him know what had happened, and they were talking, and after enough time had passed, he went to check on it, and it blew. It just sounded like a cannon, and I was back, but I was watching, but there wasn't much to see. It was just, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and just very loud, and I ran over, and I said, do I need to call 911? I'm calling 911.
Kind of spun me around and sent my phone flying, and I knew I couldn't see, and my arm was just killing me. My face was completely numb, and I just went down, a couple steps back and hit the, just sat down Indian style and leaned over and bled. I didn't even really know. She ran up right away, do I need to call 911? And before she even finished her sentence, she was on the phone.
Yeah.
Because it was obvious it was a bad deal. And
our agronomist had heard about the accident, and she called Brian and just kind of told him, about farm rescue, and that was something available for us to check out. And I believe she made the original phone calls for us, didn't she? And got in contact with Lynn in Fargo. And then Lynn came to the hospital and brought paperwork and sat with us and talked with us. And actually, she was so awesome. Once we got it filled out, she actually came back and picked the paperwork up so that we didn't have to leave or worry about it.
Week later, after this happened,
5 days later.
5 days? 5 days later, I'm working on the combine one morning, and my appendix goes south on me, and ended up that night going and into ER, and by the next morning they operated and took my appendix out. So then I was laid up too.
Nobody likes to cry out for help, but I don't feel like we had to ask for help. I feel like Farm Rescue just stepped up, and our neighbors just stepped up, and our agronomist just stepped up, and I don't think any one of us really called and was like, oh, I need this help, someone come help. It was just kind of like people knew what we needed, and they just showed up.
When something like this does happen and you don't have anywhere to turn, you look at it differently. That's just how it is. That's what I'll say about it.
My hand will heal up fine. I'll have arthritis, I'm sure. But as far as my eye surgeon is not optimistic that it'll ever gain sight again. He hasn't been able to really examine it well enough because it was so swelled and so full of blood even up till just a month ago or 2 weeks ago. And so he's never said no, you'll never see out of it again. But
He doesn't think
he
you
doesn't think so. I actually have a prosthetic that I wear and looks really good. I didn't bring it along, but
just
so
a
that's
cover.
really all that. Yeah, it's just a cover. My eye is still in there, healing if it's going to heal, but at this point they don't think it's ever going to.
Well, I don't think that this farming season would have gotten done without Farm Rescue. So I'm just very thankful for all of the sponsors for Farm Rescue.
Oh, I'd like to thank all the sponsors on there to make Farm Rescue possible. What they do for us is, yeah, we want a special thanks to all of them. You bet.
A lot of people out there have a lot of hard times come their way, and Farm Rescue is very crucial and very important. I want to thank all the sponsors for making it possible that for these people and the volunteers to come out and essentially save somebody's season. It's a livelihood that is worth saving, and I know that the sponsors and the volunteers see the value in that, and I'm very thankful.
Been a real struggle for the whole rest of the fall. Luckily we got through it.